All right, we live.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. Yeah, how about Shem Yahushua broke a thumb to the brothers? Shalom, Yahushua Allah Thun, by Shem Yahushua to the sisters. Where the ISUPK started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been teaching the truth according to the Bible.
That's right.
What is the truth? The truth is so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans make up the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel, meaning we are the greatest people on the face of the earth.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And there's nothing more important in 2024 than to come back to our identity, you know what I'm saying, which we can find all throughout these scriptures.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Priest Officer Shabal coming to you live from Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Sitting next to me is my main man, excellent brother, you know what I'm saying, the stalwart in this truth. You know what I'm saying? Priest Officer Shalom gonna be holding this class down with me because after we get through these couple of topics, we're gonna get into Thanksgiving, right? Or so-called Thanksgiving. And the topic for tonight's class, or the main topic for tonight's class, is what is so happy about Thanksgiving? And when we get into this topic, you know what I'm saying, Officer Shalama, who would be known to America as a so-called Native American, but he's actually from the tribe of Gad. He's actually going to go into the history and go into the scripture to let you guys know why we shouldn't be celebrating such an evil, wicked holiday.
Come.
You get what I'm saying? So, if anyone has any questions, go ahead and type them in. If anyone in the class has any questions, you know what I'm saying, you go ahead and raise your hand. Because of the importance of tonight's class, I'm not going to take too many questions. If I don't get a chance to get to your questions tonight or answer your questions tonight, you know what I'm saying, I will, you know what I'm saying, have them for the next class, all right? But if everybody could like and share the class, let everybody know we live. You can find us on Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas. You can find us on YouTube, ISUPK Las Vegas as well. All right, you can like, share, and let everybody know we live. As I'm doing the same thing, y'all bear with me. So any questions or comments, you know what I'm saying, we will put them on the screen. So if you do have a question or you do have a comment, you know what I'm saying, you can go ahead and drop it in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Inshallah, I'll pull it up and we'll get into it like that. All right.
Come.
The first thing that's very important is for everybody that's watching this class right now to understand, you know what I'm saying, how much honor and pride you should feel for sitting here listening to this class and taking notes, as opposed to sitting around a table, you know what I'm saying, with some nasty ass, dry ass turkey.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Or that ham that's going to raise your blood pressure through the goddamn roof. You see what I'm saying? This is what we've been taught in America. You know what I'm saying? That on this day, we supposed to eat this. On this day, we supposed to eat that. Right. It's like, damn, even though we supposed to be free, we still slaves. And that's just one example of it. You get what I'm saying? Shalom, you want to add anything?
Come. I think it's absolutely disgusting that as Black people, Hispanic people, and Native American people in America, that the only time that we can come together and even attempt any sort of camaraderie amongst ourselves is when our oppressors tell us to. All of us are able to be together only on the days that our enemies who have colonized us and have taken over our lives tell us that we can be together. You see what I'm saying? Never, ever do we ever come together and try to show love amongst one another just because that's our choice. It's always because it's a designated day where our enemies have said and decided, now y'all allowed to love each other. At what point in our lives and at what point in our history did our enemies decide that you can only love each other when they said so? You have to ask yourselves that. You have to ask yourselves, if you want your children to grow up only loving each other when their enemies decide, when their overseers decide, and when their oppressors decide. You see what I'm saying? The ISUPK under Commander General Yohana is here to tell you that we should have love for one another and hate against our enemies every single day of our lives, and not just when they say. So like, yeah, that's
straight like that. You know what I'm saying? Check the comments real quick, see if anybody has any questions or anything.
Come.
And if not, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pull this first story, right? This story right here, man. Every time I read this story, every time I look at this story, all I can do is shake my head. And the reason why is because this right here is how you sum up the state of our sisters. Not every sister, but a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? In it, that have fallen victim to this captivity and who has allowed themselves to be played by Esau, once again. You see what I'm saying?
Come.
This right here is an example as to why the serpent went to Eve in the garden and didn't go to Adam, because of how simple our sisters can be sometimes. You get what I'm saying? Let me read this real quick, man. It says, the sister says, so after doing amazing grown-up things, not hard to figure out what that is, me and the guy I'm dating started pillow talking. So we asked each other some personal questions and agreed to be honest with each other. Anyways, he asked me my body count, and I was honest, and I told him 64, right? So now, before I go any further, here's the thing about it is, as a dude, if you simple enough to ask a woman what her body count is, you setting yourself up for failure. Because if you really care, you're supposed to ask that beforehand, not after the fact. So that's how you know this cat right here has no game whatsoever. This dude is a sucker. Right. You see what I'm saying? How you gonna get some meat and then ask, hey, is that pork? Like oh, you didn't already ate the damn meat. Nigga, don't ask now, nigga's done. You didn't digested this shit already. What are you talking about? Go ahead, man.
If I may, if I'm gonna spend, before I spend any money on any broad, I want to know if you're even qualified for me. I want to know if you're even worthy of my money that I'm gonna spend it on you. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna ask that question and find that out before we even get that far.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So let me keep reading, right? She said, anyway, he asked me my body count, and I was honest, and I told him 64. Well, after my response, he got up and left me. We were just saying, I love you. I tried to grab some paper to do some math problems and divide the number by my age so he can see that number is low, but he wasn't hearing it. Right. Please help me get him back. Here's the thing about it is, I don't give a fuck if you invented math.
Right.
There's no piece of paper, there's no equation, there is nothing whatsoever, no kind of math problem whatsoever that you're gonna be able to come up with that's gonna justify your body count being at 64.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? This broad right here has been written more than the goddamn Kentucky Derby racehorse. Okay, this is insane. 64? The only 64 I like is Chevys. You get what I'm saying? Not no goddamn woman that's body count is at 64. That is, listen, she's riding lower than a goddamn 64, dude. Think about that. What kind of math was she gonna come up with? I challenge anybody out there to please help me understand what math equation she was gonna come up with that was gonna justify her being with 64 different men, right? And so not only that though, but you gotta think about it. We talking about 64 men. This wasn't 64 one night stands. You see what I'm saying? So, first of all, right? First of all, chances are, because she's a female, chances are that 64 is really 64 times 2, more times than not.
Oh my goodness!
You dig what I'm saying?
She cut it short.
She said she being honest and saying 64.
She being humble.
Yeah, that's her being humble. You dig what I'm saying? But the fact that she said she was going to pull out some paper, which lets you know she was going to be working hard.
Oh my goodness!
Because it shouldn't be that hard, you know what I'm saying, to break down 64. You see what I'm saying? But again, the fact that she even was finna try to come up with some kind of math equation to try to justify, which again go to show you how destroyed we are in America to think that any number above 1 is acceptable. Right. You know what I'm saying? All right, you wanted to add something?
Sorry if I made off the shot. I was just gonna say, you know, that like that's part of that American that math that we're talking about right now, that's part of the American standard, the American math when it comes to how faithful of a woman that this woman is, or even when it comes to a man. Because like if you look at the tradition, you look at when it comes to marriage, she's gonna put on all white. So she's basically saying, well, I had 64 prior, but when I put on that all white as a bride, right? What is white supposed to be a symbol for?
Allegedly, it's supposed to be clean, right? Pure,
cleanliness.
Yeah.
So it's, everybody is clean in everything at the moment of walking down the aisle. But the thing is we also understand that when we're in the dating field, the women are sitting here trying to use division when they're actually giving their real numbers in the first place.
Right.
When you boil all that down with that fugazi math that's been created from the American style, from the American standard, Slovakia, is the fact that the women are trying to negate as much, how do you say, accountability as possible. Because at the end of the day, America is founded on what? On the Bible standard, right? So if it's on the Bible standard, then you got these women acting like this, ignoring the fact what a whore is. They don't even understand what a whore is.
Right.
That's the best explanation I give you. So
yeah, I dig it. And real quick, I'm gonna pivot real quick. I'm not gonna get his TDs versus Teflon Don. I'm not gonna give you too much of my time because you're really not worth it.
Right.
If you don't believe in what we saying, but yet you over here just go to show how much of a loser, a pole jockey, and a fan you really are.
Right.
Go swing somewhere else, dude. You ain't got nothing better to do. Like you's on some real loser shit. But I'm gonna give you a couple seconds, right? Show me where anybody in the UPK ever said that Jacob or Esau come from Ham, because that's his comment. He's saying that they're Semites and not Hamites, but I'm trying to figure out who in the UPK ever said that Jacob and Esau came from Ham.
Right.
Because when you go into the Zondervan's Bible Dictionary and you look up the definition of Ham, I'm paraphrasing, but it says the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes.
Right.
So that eliminates Jacob and Esau, even though we know Esau and the Negro, but it said the progenitor of the dark races. So how does Esau fit into that? He doesn't. Go ahead, man.
And if I may, it always amazes me.
This stupid mother. Hey, block this dude because I'm gonna want to look for him. So just get him out the chat.
God.
We're gonna respond to him and we're gonna get him the fuck up out of here because I have no time for this stupidity. You fucking up the class, dude.
If I may, sir, like
get your dumb ass out.
It always amazes me that people who don't have their own platform,
right,
who don't have their own followers, you try to use us to get your message out,
right?
When in reality, you believe that we were worthy of whatever the hell it is you think you know. You see what I'm saying? You saw what it is we was teaching, and you thought that we were worthy adversaries. You would be better off humbling yourself and coming in here to learn on the priest of God, just like everybody else.
You know the sad part about it is he's sitting at home in his mother's basement on her computer,
right, eating
ham as we speak,
turkey and mac and cheese.
And he's trying to come up against us.
What
are you doing? This goddamn mind? Hey, yo, my man. Hey, find something better to do, yo. We on some real shit trying to educate our people here, man. Listen, man. If you're not with us, you're against us.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? This ain't the time or the place. Like this cake ass nigga right here talking about Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
That's got to be a joke, right?
Happy Thanksgiving is crazy.
The fact that you listen, man. Hey, you clown ass niggas, man, get the hell out of my chat, dude. We here, you know what I'm saying, handling the Lord's business. And if you're not here for that, then you just in the way. You see what I'm saying? Now this right here is a comment worth responding to. The sister said most of the female music artists promote this type of behavior. That's why she felt that comfortable giving that number, which is unbelievable. And she's absolutely right. And once again goes back to America and a lifestyle that America promotes. You see what I'm saying? America pays these sisters who knows how much money to go out here and make music to make it seem like it's okay to sleep with all these different men. And the justification is he's paying my rent, or he bought me a car, or he bought me this, or he bought me that. There is no justifying being a whore. Right. You see what I'm saying? I don't give a damn what kind of math you come up with. I don't give a damn how many of your bills get paid. There is no justification for being a whore. That brother's forgiven.
Oh, look at
he
that.
He apologized.
Look at that.
Hey, listen, man. That's an honorable thing that you did.
Man, look at that.
It's an honorable thing that you did, brother.
He said, Happy Thanksgiving. And he said, you know what? I forgot I was dealing with men of God.
You know what I'm saying? Get that brother a hand, man. That takes a lot of courage, man. That takes a lot of courage. Meanwhile, let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and verse 14. Let's get that because I want you to pull that, and I'm gonna go into this next story because they both tie in together. All right, they both tie in together. Let me get this because this one right here, it goes in. It's pretty much along the same lines, right? Bear with me 1 second. Let me get this real quick, man. Because this one right here ain't this one right here. Don't Gary Poole ain't no better, right? Check this out. So, which again, I let me read it and then I'll go into a little bit, right? So this says, Yo Gotti has been crushing on Angela Simmons since 2016. That's 8 whole years, right? She had a baby, gave Bow Wow, Romeo, we got London on the track, Khalil Mack, Serge Ibaka, Alan Crabb, Morgan O'Connor, and Daniel Jacobs a chance before him. But she has now settled down. And sometimes it just takes time. So now I'm not sure if this cat that made this post was like saying this like in a joking way, but either way, not counting Yo Gotti, that was 8 cats that he named, and that's over the last 8 years. And these are only the ones that he mentioned. So who knows how many it actually really is? Because Angela Simmons been in the game for a minute.
Right.
That body been a part of the game for a while. You see what I'm saying? Niggas probably been tugging on that since she was what, 13, 14. And I'm not saying that that's cool. I'm not promoting that in no way, shape, or form. I'm saying that because she's in the game.
Right.
And the game being the industry. You see what I'm saying? And in that industry, in that world, it is a badge of honor to have a woman or a little girl, because she's not a woman at that age. I know there's some fake Israelite groups that teach when a young woman has her flower that she's ready to be married. And it's like, how? And on what planet? Under what circumstances? How does that make you a woman? You get what I'm saying? But I'm really tripping out because he really named off 8 cats, and then Yo Gotti would be the 9th, which lets you know what? Just because you famous and just because you got money, it doesn't make you no smarter.
Right.
Like, how do you, like, you been in the industry, you know that she's been with all these cats and you just sat back in the cut waiting your turn? Like that listen, man. The fact that this is the fact, listen, she settled down.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So after she done been ridden more than a goddamn New York City subway, now she's ready to settle down. Now she, okay, I'm ready to put that white dress on like our Rocco talking about. Now I was married. Now I'm wifey material now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You got more miles on you than a goddamn 747, but now you ready though. Look at this. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Go ahead, man.
And if I may, sir, you can always tell who loves black women and who doesn't based off of comments like that. Whenever you see somebody say, "Oh, sometimes it just takes time." How many times have we seen a Christian pastor say, "Your man will come eventually. At some point, he's gonna come and save you, and this. You're gonna go through all of these horrible men, and then that one righteous man will come to you." Let me tell you something. If you really love black women, then you would know that their body is more valuable than time. You see what I'm saying? A black woman's body is far more precious than time.
Real talk.
You shouldn't have to wait. You shouldn't have to go through all of these different men through time and through failures and through all of these irresponsibilities in order to find the love of your life. That's not what God had in place for you. You see what I'm saying?
Not at all.
You're teaching black women that the Lord is not with them when they decide to start dating, and when they decide to start looking for men, and when they decide to start putting themselves out there. Right. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
By telling them that they got to go through all of these different stages of rods and men and difficulties before they find the one.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You should be ashamed of yourself.
Right.
You are the problem. So like,
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you are the problem. You are the reason that our women think the way they think today, because you don't understand that they are far more precious than time. Our women should never have to experience a wicked man, ever. Our women should never have to know what it feels like to deal with a man that doesn't love them, ever. You see what I'm saying? And the only reason that they go through it is because it's people like who made that comment that tell them they should go through it. Go ahead,
yeah, kind of, if I may. I think that whole situation, because like I don't know who the woman is. I don't know who she is. You know what I'm saying? But that should be a prime example for especially women today to look and see that, you know, they're sitting here trying to hold themselves, have all this fun up until the time that they're ready to settle down for somebody who has some money. And this, from somebody who doesn't know who this bride is, I don't even know who the brother is. I don't know who either of them are, but I know the brother has money. I know he's a rapper. And the woman is trying to, you know, quote unquote, settle down with him. This should be a prime example for sisters to see that, you know, all that settling, all that waiting just for money it's not going to get you anywhere when you have the history that you have. there's not a man that's going to, redeem the nonsense that you have done up until the point of quote unquote salvation.
Right.
And you need to realize that the actions that you make up in, every day is accountable for, and everybody gonna look at you sideways. Just like
Nah, straight like that, man. And it's so crazy how many of our own people, you know what I'm saying, go out their way to try to stop us from teaching the truth. A lot of times it be our own, and Christ said that in Matthew the 10th chapter. You know what I'm saying? And your foes should be those of your own household. I'm paraphrasing. Right. You see what I'm saying? And all these cats that's leaving all these comments, you know what I'm saying, in this chat. If you don't agree with what we're saying, do you realize how stupid you look and how much of a loser and how pathetic you come off when you sit there watching something that you don't agree with? Like, damn, my nigga, you ain't got no life.
Right.
You ain't got nothing better to do than to sit here and listen to a class that you don't agree with. Like, damn, my nigga, you ain't got no gay porn that you want to watch or something like that, my nigga. Like, goddamn, don't you got a tricycle that you want to fix or something like that? Go play some goddamn Nintendo 64 or something. Like, we really sitting there trying to do the Lord's work, and you really sitting here doing fuck shit. And it's like, man, we really don't have the tolerance for stupidity. We really don't, man. What you should do is humble yourself and get in contact with the brothers in Kentucky so you can get in class and change your life, man. Because this shit you doing, man, you are of your father, the devil.
Right.
Is who you are, man. And that's the spirit that you got on you, man.
Right.
And I pray that you're not a brother, because I expect this kind of behavior from Esau,
man,
or Ham.
Real talk.
You see what I'm saying? Or Japheth, or one of them cats. It's
right.
disappointing that something like this would come from our own. But I mean, again, you know what I'm saying? He's the same one that's going around, saying Shalom and, Shabbat Shalom and, all this other stupid shit, wearing fringes on his t-shirt, looking super moisty zesty around this motherfucker. Listen, man, you cats that's coming up in the chat, cut the shit, man. We about the Lord's business, and we really don't have the kind of time for the stupidity. We would now what we will do, we will set something up after class and we'll go live. You see what I'm saying? And we can take these scriptures out of this, and we can really, do some battling if you really want to do that. But this ain't the time. This ain't the time or the place. But if you really with that, all you gotta do is let it be known. And when we get done handling the Lord's business, you know what I'm saying, we'll take time out of our day to deal with this stupidity, man. Did you want to add something?
I was just gonna say it's so sad, because when I see comments like this from this fake Israelite, who that's self-proclaimed fake Israelite bro or fro, whatever his name is. These are cats that come up against us because it's really a cry for help.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? These cats are coming to our page, and they come into our page because in reality, they're destroyed and they want to be fixed. They want to be healed. We'll heal you. We'll fix you. You see what I'm saying? But we're not going to fix you the way you want to be fixed. We're going to fix you the way we're going to fix you. You're not going to come in here disrespecting the priest of God, disrespecting and disrupting our class, or any of those things. You see what I'm saying? You're going to humble yourself, like Priest Norbert Shabbat said earlier, and then you'll receive all the help you need. It's that simple.
Straight up. Let me get Ecclesiastes 26:14.
The book of Ecclesiastes. You said Ecclesiastes?
No, Ecclesiasticus.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25 and verse number 14.
No, 26:14, please. 26.
It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26 and verse number 14.
Mm-hmm.
A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed.
Man, listen, that scripture is the complete opposite of the two examples that I just gave y'all. You see what I'm saying? These sisters should be trying to be like what the Bible is explaining how a woman should conduct herself. You know what I'm saying? Drop down to verse 22.
Verse 22. And harlot shall be accounted as spittle.
Read it again.
Oh my goodness.
And harlot shall be accounted as spittle.
So for all you cake ass niggas out there that's sitting here trying to glorify and justify this lifestyle and sitting there with that her body, her choice, and calling her queen and talking about how you'll drink her bathwater and all that stupid shit because you want to be number 65 or 165 or whatever the case may be, you're part of the problem. You cake ass enabling ass niggas. As a matter of fact, let me tell you something. You dudes out there that like to empower and enable hoes, we got a new term for niggas like y'all, and y'all niggas' new names is hoablers. That's what you niggas is from now on. You niggas is hoe-ablers.
They're not enablers.
Because you
They
niggas are
hoe-ablers.
enabling hoes.
Right.
So from this point forward, everybody that's gonna come and try to justify a woman having that many bodies, they having more bodies than a goddamn cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for you to sit there and try to justify a woman that conducts herself in that kind of manner, you are a hoe-abler.
Right.
And from this point forward, all you Duncan Hines, Betty Crocker ass niggas from now on will be referred to as hoe-ablers. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Let me get Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 and verse 16.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25 and verse 13.
16.
Verse 16.
You got it.
I had rather dwelt with a lion and a dragon.
Read that again.
I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman.
This is what the Lord is saying.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? This is coming from the Bible. So for all you non-believers, we're reading out of the Bible. And what the Lord is saying is, you better off being in a house with a lion than a wicked ass woman. You see what I'm saying? And we're gonna go into it a little bit more in when we start going into the Thanksgiving breakdown, right? There's a lot of men who are miserable tonight because they know once they put up that dry ass turkey and that runny ass cranberry sauce and them biscuits that could be used as ammo, when they get done putting all that stuff up, it's gonna be Black Friday, right? And this bitch got a list that goes as long as her body count, and she's going to expect him to figure out a way to go out and do all these things while meanwhile she continues to compile bodies.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And this brother is going to sit there, stress the hell out, and try to pick up a second job and possibly a third job,
Right.
to try to keep this woman happy because he's worried about if he don't buy her the things that's on this list, she's going to just go get it from another man, and not knowing that she's going to get it from another man regardless. You dig what I'm saying? Go ahead, man. You got it.
I'll share a personal story, right? So with like because you was basically talking about the holidays, Christmas coming up and stuff like that. Like what you just said, like specifically speaks about like what how my mother, whom of which is an Edomite, had done my father, whom of which is Judah. Right, where we would go all the whole year, and of course now I know the fruition of everything in broad spec from my father of how everything went. But basically, my pops would tell me how my mother would be on some, how would you say, squirrel funding the money up until like the holiday season, and then the holiday season, quite frankly, my mother did what she did, which she cheated on my father, and then from there, she would also spend the money on everything but what needed to be spent on.
Yeah.
And my point with that is sure, my mother is a heathen, but the thing is when you allow a woman to just do the things that she wants, she's gonna suck you into the holiday, that type of holiday spirit,
right?
Where you don't even know what's even going on in the first place.
No, that's heavy. Yeah, no, what you're saying makes sense, and this is why once again the Bible is so perfect. Because Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, specifically tells us not to deal with other women from other nations.
Right. That's right.
Because what will end up happening is we'll forget our culture and put on their culture. You see what I'm saying? Let me get John chapter 4 and verse 15, and let me answer this question right here. Are we mad at these women and our moms? Yes and no. Here's why I say yes and no. I say yes because there's too much information available in 2024 to still have that kind of mindset. You get what I'm saying? We have to stop letting everybody else dictate what is right and wrong, and we need to go back to the basics in the foundation, which is these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Bible. You see what I'm saying? And so there's no excuse in 2024 to not have this understanding when we have classes every day. You see what I'm saying? Whether it's Vegas, whether it's Chicago, whether it's Houston, whether it's Detroit, you dig what I'm saying? So yes, we do blame them to an extent. You know what I'm saying? But we don't put all the blame on them. Why? Because the scriptures say when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. Well, the wicked are in authority right now, and so the people are mourning. And some of us think that there's no better alternative than to accept this type of lifestyle.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Come.
The scriptures say, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. You dig what I'm saying? We are in captivity. You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of these sisters just don't know no better. You see what I'm saying? But that's where that retraining comes in. This is why you have to become a new creature in the eyes of the Most High, and be teachable and be willing to be taught, so that you can become a brand new man and a brand new woman. You see what I'm saying? And you're right. The woman is the weaker vessel. This is why the serpent went to Eve instead of Adam.
Right.
So you're right. However, and this is why I can't be fully mad at the sisters, because as black men, when I say black men, I mean blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, it is our responsibility to gird up our loins and learn the truth about this Bible as well, so that we can train these sisters up and teach them the right way. You see what I'm saying? So the blame is twofold. You see what I'm saying? Our sisters got to stop listening to this rhetoric that's being spewed out here in America, and stop listening to this nonsense. And us men, we got to do a better job. You know what I'm saying? And not allowing ourselves to fall victim to this society as well. You see what I'm saying? And the brother said men can be enablers, which is why earlier I coined the phrase hoablers.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You just described exactly what it is that I'm talking about.
Right.
Hoablers. You see what I'm saying? And us as men, we have to do a better job of not being hoablers. You see what I'm saying? We got to get rid of the zestiness. We got to get rid of the moisture and all this other stuff that we are doing to make these women believe that the way they're living is acceptable in the sight of the Most High. Go ahead, Shalom.
If I may, sir, I can't believe Cass, right? This Cass said, he said, do we just expose them or do we teach them? Paraphrasing. He said, should we just talk down on them or should we teach them better?
We're doing both.
What do you think we're doing right now?
We're doing both.
Why do you think do you think we live on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube and on all those other platforms, ISUPK Las Vegas, on every social platform, right? Follow us. But what do you think it is we're doing now? We're educating our women and our men so that they don't do the things that we're describing. Because right now, all they do is everything that we've said so far. Our women are whores. Our women have no moral standard. Our men don't want our women to have moral standard. They just want to hit something. You want to know why? Because it's people like you that hear what we're saying, and instead of saying, you know what, y'all have a point. That's wrong. Women and men shouldn't be like that. You would rather argue when you know deep down what we're saying is right. That's why you asking if we should scold or teach while you're sitting in the class. Right. You're sitting in the classroom setting. What the hell are you talking about?
Man.
Yeah.
We are teaching instead of scolding. But if we don't mention what the problem is, how will our women ever understand that what they're doing is a problem?
Right.
You got
answer me that question.
You got
I'll
it.
I'll be quick this time. That just is a direct reflection that these Christians don't read the Bible, let alone understand what they do read when they do read the Bible.
Right.
Because if they did read the Bible and understand it, you go straight to Numbers, the book of Numbers, chapter 16, and you see this direct division of how somebody was given authority to lead somebody, and he was specifically was the only one given that authority, but there was men and others who came up against, what was it, like 240,000, I believe? I
don't remember the exact number, but I do know what you're talking about.
But Moses, so everybody want to come up against him, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
that was heavy, and I appreciate that. Who's holding John 4:15?
The book of John, chapter 4, and verse number 16?
15, please.
Verse 15. The woman said unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Yahushua said unto her, Go, call thy husband, and come hither. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yahushua said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband. For thou hast had 5 husbands.
Oh my!
Have had how many?
5 husbands.
You see what I'm saying?
And he whom thou thou now hast is not thy husband, and thy sayest thou truly.
You see what I'm saying? The reason why I pulled this scripture is because this has been going on for a long time. You see what I'm saying? These women with a high body count. You get what I'm saying? And
Right.
so at some point, it starts with us. It starts with us as men. We got to stop being hoe-ablers. And I know it sounds funny as hell, but that's what it is, though.
Right.
Anytime you decide to step out there and put a cape on and try to justify and come to the defense of a woman who has had many men, like 50 Cent said, that's these broads. These broads should have made that song, Many Men, because they've all had many men.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? That's probably was a female that wrote that song. Probably. But 50 Cent just was able to, you know what I'm saying, scrap it better. You see what I'm saying? Who knows? But all I'm trying to say is it all starts with us. The day that we stop putting holes on platforms, the day that we stop coming to their defense, the day that we stop trying to rescue them, and the day that we start calling them out for their whoredom is the day that they'll start wanting to change. You see what I'm saying? The sad part about it is there's a sucker on every corner.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? There's some Pillsbury doughboy nigga on every corner who's as moist as can be, and he's waiting on one of these bras, and she's gonna come to him, and she's gonna have 5 kids with 7 different niggas, and she's gonna come in, and she's gonna expect him to take care of all of them. And she's gonna say, "What you bring to the table?" And he's gonna say all these things, and she's gonna say, "That's not good enough." He gonna ask her, "What do you bring to the table?" And she's gonna say, "I am the table." And his response should be, "Yes, your box is a table. It is about the size of a table. You are absolutely right. Yes, I can drive a Suburban through there. You are absolutely correct. Yes, no problem. You bras out here, y'all really need to stop it. Like, seriously." But again, it all starts with us as men, though.
That's right.
The day that we stop loving these hoes, like Snoop claimed we don't love them hoes, but yet all these niggas are with hoes.
Man.
So at some point, again, us as men, we have to gird up our loins, like the scriptures say,
Right.
and start calling these women out and not worry about the hoe-ablers sitting there trying to defend them and ask us if we're doing the right things, because we're always doing the right things, because everything that we speak of come from these scriptures.
That's right.
Tazawar, you want to ask something?
I wanted to speak to the ones with the 64 bodies.
That's still tripping him out.
64 is
Yeah,
crazy.
right.
It's a lot.
That just speaks volumes to the woman's mentality.
Right.
Like, how many times can you make the wrong decision before you finally realize, or you start weeding it out, like, okay, this is not it. 64, wrong, like, you know what I mean? And then you can't use the excuses, well, I'm using time to find the right one, because had you found the right one before 64, you wouldn't have kept going if you made the right decision. But because you constantly make the wrong decision, that's why the body count is just constantly increasing.
Absolutely. Come on with it.
Yes, sir. I got it on the tail end of it, but just the thought that she has no shame at all, that she would actually go to the public and say, "Yeah, I slept with 65, and I'm probably gonna sleep with 65 more." I don't understand that. She has no shame, and
Right.
I just don't understand.
Right. Hey, listen, man, the Bible says a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. Come on with it.
If I may, what she just said, society standards is that women are supposed to either, if they need to, either subtract 2 or is divide by 2 to keep themselves a lady. So we can sit on 64 and speculate, but you telling us everything that we need to know, and the red flags is there. Anybody that walks to it, we know why it's red.
They're gonna walk to it and fall in it. Who else had their hand? Shalimar, you got it.
Sir, if I may, like what Tazawar said, what Tazawar was saying was so important. When he was saying that you chose wrong 64 times.
Right.
At what point are you gonna realize maybe this choice shouldn't be your choice?
Right.
Right.
And what I mean by that is
Right.
the Bible has set a specific standard in place. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A woman's father should choose her husband.
Right.
Here in America, though, women have been taught that before they're ready to settle down, they should explore and explore and explore until they're ready to settle down. So if you ask Angela Simmons, well, damn, you chose wrong 64 times. She gonna say, oh no, I didn't choose wrong. I was just having fun. You want to know why? Because America has devalued the overall value of the black woman.
Yeah.
Now your virginity, if that's what you want to call it, your body, your beauty, your time, your patience, all of that means nothing.
Right.
Other than another orgasm.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
All these hoes
That's
out
all
here.
the women deserve.
All these hoes out here like Christopher
Come
Columbus.
on.
They just out here exploring.
Just
shit.
exploring.
And it's insane. That's
Right.
that's something that you in reality you should be ashamed of. And so he says men have numbers. Listen, hey, I don't want to mispronounce your name, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say this last thing, and you going to reach out after class or something like that, so we can have a more in-depth conversation. The thing about it is men have numbers. Women will compete to the power of competing and fall right in. Here's the problem. We're the one that's falling right in when we sleep with whores. That's number one. Number two, again, where the scripture said where there's no law, there's no sin. There's no law that said that a man cannot have more than one woman. But there is scripture that said that there shall be no whores of the daughters of Zion.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? A woman is not supposed to be with anyone other than her husband. And these women have had many men. This is what we've been talking about the whole time. You see what I'm saying? Any woman that thinks that they're allowed to compete with a man, you have the wrong spirit about you and you need to get in class.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's the whole bottom line. You get what I'm saying? The problem is that, again, there's a thing now called slut shaming. Like you can't slut shame. And it's like, so in other words, you're proud to be a slut and I don't want you talking about me for being a slut. This is what society is teaching. This is what America is thriving on. You get what I'm saying? And again, as men, we have to call this out, and we have to do a better job of chastising our women and correcting our women and not being scared of these women.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times the reason why a lot of these women get away with the things that they get away with is because the dude that they dealing with is scared of them.
Right.
Whether it's scared to go on child support, whether they scared that they're gonna have to sleep on the couch, which is insane in itself.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because the only way a man should be sleeping on the couch is if he chooses to sleep on the couch.
Right.
And not because she closed the door and threw a pillow out the door and said, get it how you get it. Yeah, I'm gonna take the hinges off this goddamn door. That's how I'm gonna get it. Okay, just like that. And I will kick you out the house, you know what I'm saying? Like goddamn Wilma did Fred, and he was banging on the door. Okay, that's what the hell is gonna happen. Do not play with real men. This is why toxic masculinity gets shitted on the way it does, because women don't want to be corrected. Women want to have the freedom to live their lives how they want without the consequence that comes along with it.
Right.
Well, in the ISUPK, we believe in everything that's in this Bible. You see what I'm saying? And the Bible said that there's no respect of persons.
Right.
So the same way that I'm gonna call a brother out for being out of pocket, I'm gonna call a sister out for being out of pocket as well.
Right.
Go ahead.
And if I may, that term toxic masculinity, that always confuses me, because in order for something to be toxic, it has to be bad for you. When in reality, there's nothing toxic about correction. There's nothing toxic about a man demanding perfection out of you. You see what I'm saying? That's good for you. You should want to be perfect. You should want to be with a man that expects the absolute best out of you. What's so bad about that? Toxicity is bad. What's bad about a man saying, I want you to be the best woman you could be? And that's what I demand out of you. And that's what I need out of you. That's who you should be, the absolute best.
Right.
You should never have this problem or that problem. I want you to be this person.
Yeah.
What's so toxic about that? What's so poisoning about that? You see what I'm saying? America wants you to believe that a man demanding better out of you, that a man demanding your true potential, he wants you to believe that that's poison in your brain. And that's the reason so many women try to walk around and say, oh, this is toxic masculinity, and he's a toxic man, and he's telling me I need to change who I am, and this. So many women don't even know how many men change who they are for them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Straight up.
A man might not tell them that, but it's so many men that alter the things they like and the things they do because they trying to please some woman.
Yeah.
And women are taught that if this man wants you to alter who you are, he ain't the one. And get what you can get out of him, move on to the next.
Right.
That's why you're depressed all the time. That's why you suffer from depression and misery, and you think that niggas ain't shit.
Right.
That's the reason.
Right.
Because instead of listening to the black man, instead of listening to the Hispanic man, instead of listening to who you belong to, you're listening to somebody who colonized our land.
Right.
And are celebrating it on this very day.
Right.
To the day.
Right.
So
I'm on about. Did you want to ask? You had your hand up?
When brother was speaking about changing,
I
don't know why they're complaining, because they're changing for every new idea that the white man give them. I mean, they, all of this makeup, and, all the surgeries and stuff.
Right.
Sisters dying all over the place.
Right.
Butt implants.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Some white man said,
yeah.
Right.
It look like that.
Yeah.
So I'm complaining when brothers tell them you need to change. It's a good change.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. That's a heavy point. That's an excellent point. Alright, you want to add something too? That was an excellent point.
A lot of this dialogue is going back to this Italian Roman name. He just looked like a Roman.
Okay.
Dude said something about hotel in Slovakia. So I'm more so, making it aware to you.
I got you.
Dude claiming hotel, and then now we know where this conversation comes from.
I got you.
Slovakia, so.
If the brother who's asking questions, leaving comments, if you're really serious, I'm gonna have a brother drop the number to the Vegas school in the chat. We are live in Las Vegas. Drop the number in the chat. And if you're really serious about, want to learn some things, reach out to us, and we'll set some things up and we'll go from there. All right. But like the sister said, it showed that men care about women when he corrects unfavorable behavior. You're absolutely right. That's the thing. The same way that the scripture said, the Lord chasteneth who he loveth. You see what I'm saying? We're doing the work of the Lord. Right. We're chastening black men and black women. Why? Because we love black men and black women. All right. So that's it on that. There's one more thing that I want to get into real quick before we go into the Thanksgiving topic. All right. I'm gonna play this video, and it will sum up Esau, or the spirit of Esau, in a nutshell. All right. Let me play this video real quick.
Come on.
Check this out. In a nutshell.
Hills High School following claims of racial intimidation.
I'm going to tell you how scary it was.
This is what Bella Ivory is talking about. She's a fashion teacher at Beverly Hills High School who says on the day of the election, there was a mob going down the hallway.
It was just mob of kids, just so many kids outside my door. And they had one had a Trump flag on a pole, on a flagpole. Another, it was just so many of them. Some of them had on MAGA hats. Some, had on just Trump fans apparel.
She says someone tried to open her classroom door. Says it upset some of her students.
At this school, I've had to deal with a lot of racism.
But at a recent school board meeting, students talked about how scared they were, given what happened outside Bella Ivory's classroom during election week.
And it became utterly impossible to just ignore it. From 8:30 to 2:30 all week, being at school felt like being in a nightmare. What the Black students and Miss Bella had to deal with that week had absolutely nothing to do with politics. That week, being stormed, being called the N-word, being shunned, all because you were Black, became the normal.
In recent weeks, I have seen racial slurs scrawled across the walls of our bathrooms, hateful rhetorics being spoken by fellow students in the hallways we share, and violent behavior towards Miss Bella and our club.
Bella Ivory also spoke at the board meeting.
They looked so frightened. Then I said, I'm not going to open the door. And then the student said, they look like KKK.
The district tells Fox 11, we remain deeply committed to upholding a secure and conscientious setting where students.
All right, that's it right there. Y'all get the gist of the video. The reason why I wanted to share this video is because I want y'all to truly understand that Trump being reelected has given the oppressor their courage back. Because when he got in office the first time, think about how much bolder these oppressors were. Think about how much more disrespectful they were. Think about the things that they weren't saying that they started saying, and then when Trump was out of office, they kind of went back in the woods, so to speak. Right now that he's been reelected, out the woodwork, here they come, or out of the Caucasus Mountains, I should say.
Oh my goodness,
they back again. You get what I'm saying?
Come.
And what we need to understand is that this hatred and this mentality of being the superior race is all biblical, and it goes all the way back to the beginning. You get what I'm saying? This is something that was prophesied about years ago. You see what I'm saying? And so for those that don't know who Jacob and Esau is, if you still don't know based on all the slayings that have taken place, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans at the hands of oppressors, right? We're going to go into the Bible and we're going to show you that it's not a coincidence. It's not some kind of mystery. This is a perpetual hatred, like the scriptures explains, and it goes all the way back to Genesis. So somebody let me get Genesis chapter 25 and verse 22. We're going to start there. All right, let's get that.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 22.
Uh-huh.
And the children struggled together.
They did what?
And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
So stop right there real quick, right? So to give y'all some context, right? This is talking about Jacob and Esau, right? And Rebecca was pregnant with Jacob and Esau, and she was going through complications throughout this pregnancy. And her whole thing was, if I was supposed to have these kids, why am I in so much pain? Why am I always in so much pain? The reason why, because there was 2 nations in her womb, and the scriptures say struggle. I looked up this word through the concordance, right? And it means to one of the definitions is to bruise, right? Or to battle, right? So what was happening was Jacob and Esau was fighting in the womb. You get what I'm saying? They was beefing with each other from the giddy up. This right here, the original Bloods and Crips right here. You see what I'm saying? This the north side versus the south side right here in the womb. You see what I'm saying? And so the whole thing about it is that, oh, matter of fact, so I can keep reading.
And she went to inquire of the Lord. Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 what?
2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations, 2 nationalities, races, whatever word you want to use. Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
2 manner of people. Right? Keep going.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. And the elder shall serve the younger.
You see what I'm saying? So when it says 2 manner of people, 2 different mannerisms, right? You got one that get down one way, you got another one that get down one way, right? Now, why am I saying that, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm able to say that because I can prove that, right? I'm gonna drop down to verse 27 real quick. It says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So now you fast forward to today. If you don't know, or if you want to know how can you tell who's Jacob and who is Esau, all you got to do is look at what the so-called white man likes to do and look at what the so-called black man likes to do. And when I say black, I mean all 12 tribes. We chilling. Right. You see what I'm saying? Everything that we do for the most part is indoors.
Right.
Whether it's a club, you know what I'm saying? Whether we kicking at somebody's house, you see what I'm saying? A majority of our functions are going to be indoors because we chilling. You see what I'm saying? Man, I'm at the house, man. Meanwhile, these cats is bungee jumping. You know what I'm saying? They jumping out of airplanes. They putting on goddamn camouflage and hiding in trees and shooting spears at each other. You know what I'm saying? They playing grab ass. They doing all kind of shit. All the things that we don't do. You dig what I'm saying? The top line, you got it.
Like even when you go on YouTube, right, you just search up how to make a fire, how to hunt a deer, how to clean this weapon. It's always Esau.
Exactly.
That's what the Lord gave them right there. That's what they are known for killing and
right,
doing those things like this.
Absolutely.
We just like to chill. We like to get the crib.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that a little bit more in a minute, but that's an excellent point. But Carl, you had that? You want some? You had something you want to add?
Yeah, no, just this whole topic right here, and the prophecy that was laid out right here in Genesis is so big and understanding because this is a tell sign from the beginning.
Yeah.
Genesis meaning the beginning. Right. So this was foreshadowed. If you just look at everything from a bigger perspective, that, like you said, that word struggle meaning like beefing, like you
right. Mm-hmm.
It's a constant battle.
Absolutely.
With the so-called white people.
Absolutely.
And you can't really name a time when we ain't battling them.
Yeah, real talk.
Especially here in America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Although we scattered across the the four corners of the earth, but in America, there is a special emphasis. And even today, like me and Shalimar, we watching football and just seeing how they just promote Thanksgiving. I know we'll get into that later. But just that battle of them trying to convince us to accept their way.
Absolutely.
Our spirit naturally rejects so much they offer us.
Yeah.
And we know it's morally wrong.
Yeah.
We know it's not good for us. We know it's leading us to destruction.
Real talk.
The fact that they, right now, you know what I'm saying? The prophecy said that the elders shall serve the young. Like I said, we can get into the breakdown at another day, but it's going to be a time, you know what I'm saying, that we being the so-called younger in that prophecy are going to have dominion over them. So the fact that right now we're it's the opposite. The roles are reversed. That's the battle that we're fighting. We know that we are better than them. We know that we are spiritually, connected to the Most High.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why no matter what denomination or what type of, faith that you have, you still, some of these people, call upon, even if it's the wrong way, have some sort of zeal towards, like the scripture say, but it's wrong.
Right.
Even if you're a Christian, you have zeal towards the Lord.
Right.
And the white man just casually, looks at religion. They'll create their own religion. They'll create the Book of Mormon. They'll create science. Right. You don't really find too many black people creating their own religion. You know what I'm saying? Even Christianity, if you want to say, is considered white.
Right.
The face of Christianity is white Jesus.
Yeah, real talk.
The theology comes from the Roman Catholic Church.
Right.
And the Romans are white people if you look up the origin.
Right. Yeah.
Originally, you know what I'm saying? So with all that being said, that battle and that struggle, it can be a physical battle, it can be, mentally, spiritual, on all levels.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And just everything that you're saying as far as the characteristics of Esau, we can definitely identify, you know what I'm saying, who that is through the scriptures. And the fact that this was written, thousands of years ago, and it still fits the bill of today, it shouldn't have people confused on what type of time we live.
Yeah, real talk.
What's going on. We see it every day. We see the white man killing us every day. Trump getting office. What is he talking about? Mass deportation. What is he talking about? Creating a situation that, if you look at behind the surface of the shucking and jiving and all the little slick talk, it's gonna mean that black people are gonna suffer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We can get in specifics, but anything that it causes for any economic differences, whether it be tariffs or whatever, the white man can afford to buy expensive food. You know what I'm saying? We the ones that's gonna suffer if food prices go up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We the ones that's gonna suffer on all levels, and it just shows me that they're constantly battling us. And it started, like you said, in Genesis, in this chapter, with us battling in the womb, being two different people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Laid back, we worried about our family. You know what I mean? The white man is worried about conquering.
Right. Real talk.
Ruling the earth and killing.
Real talk. And I'm actually gonna go pull that scripture as well to further drive home that point. Tell us what you want to add something.
I just wanted to piggyback off of what the priest Bob said. And what you said out of 1 in verse 27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cutting under, a man in the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Like priest Bob was saying, that if you just Google how to hunt, how to skin, it's always Esau.
Right.
Then if you Google, or if you just see the new trending dance or the new trending style of clothing, that's done in the house. Dances are done in the house. Dances are done in the club.
Yeah, real talk.
It's always black people that start that kind of
stuff.
Just to piggyback off.
That's an excellent point.
Absolutely describes it.
That's an excellent point. I rock.
Concert, if I may, I want to cap out what Officer Picard had just brought up because it was so heavy, right? Like with the NFL, with how they were running, like it's almost as if America as a whole is trying to ignore the fact that we didn't have, and this is well after, you know, reservations was, you know, established, you know, basically white people claiming they serve suburbs, and, you know, these are the ghettos, the separation amongst America and everything. But one thing they would, you know, they would not let go of, and this is the weekend for it as well, is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Well, up until just a few years ago, it was always Cowboys versus Indians every Thursday. And, you know, just to caveat what you were saying about the whole brainwashing and whatnot, because let's be real, up until this year when they're not playing each other no more, for the most part, Dallas pretty much dominated, you know, this Thursday.
Right. Now I got you.
You know, just to caveat off of what he said, which was so heavy about the, you know, like the brainwashing.
Right.
With, you know what I'm saying? So I just, you know, I wanted to throw that out there.
Nah, I dig it. Nah. Most High in Christ. Shalom, you want to add something?
Nah, sir, it's too well.
All right. Drop down to verse 38. We're gonna put a bow on everything that y'all was saying as far as Esau. Chapter 20. We're still in 25. Just drop down to 38 for me. Genesis. It's like 25 and 38. 25 and 38.
Where do you at?
Wait, hold on. 25. Oh, it's like my fault. That's 27. My fault. 27 and it's like you're right. It's Genesis 27 and 38. It's like
Oh God. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
He did what?
Lifted up his voice and wept.
So what does history show you? Esau been a crybaby since the beginning.
Right.
Keep reading.
39. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. Verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live.
Read it again.
And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. 41. And Esau hated Jacob.
He what?
He hated Jacob.
He what?
He hated Jacob because of the blessings wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
I will love my brother Jacob.
I will slay my brother Jacob.
I will forgive my brother Jacob.
I will slay my brother Jacob.
You get what I'm saying? So once again, for those that want to know why there is a perpetual hatred in the so-called white man's heart towards so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we just read it out the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Shalimar.
And if I may, whenever you take the spirit of your enemies, this is the spirit you take right here.
Right.
The spirit of somebody that first gives something away willingly, and then afterwards you want to take it back. That's what demons are. How often do you think you want something? How often do you think you want to do something? And after you do it and you know it's wrong, you want to sell those drugs. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want to sleep with that whore. You want to sleep with your brother's rib. You want to do that bad, just like Esau did back then. And then once you do it, now that demon leaves you. And now you wish you never did it. Now you hate that you did that. Now you want to take that back.
Right.
And now you hate what you did. Just like Esau hated Jacob. That's why you are of your father, the devil. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's why the Bible says that.
Right.
That's why the priests and prophets in the ISUPK says that about you. Because instead of listening to the authority that's correct, you rather listen to their authority. You're gonna sell your birthright. You're gonna listen to that demon. You're gonna do what you know deep down is wrong.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And you're gonna listen to the Christianity that tells you can be forgiven.
Right.
Don't do that, man. So like, you go ahead.
No. That's it on that, right? I wanted to, you know what I'm saying, touch on these other points, because the thing about it is that you won't learn these things anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? Your pastor will not expose these females for being the whores that they are because he loves whores.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Your pastor will not call the so-called white man out for his crimes because he's in bed with the so-called white man.
Right.
Figuratively, and in most cases, literally as well.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And so this is why we bring these kind of stories out. We drop this information in these classes.
Right.
Because we want to make sure that our people have all the information that they need to gird themselves up to know how to navigate through this captivity. You see what I'm saying? And so speaking of captivity, we're going to get into the main topic, which is Thanksgiving. Now, if you've seen the topic of tonight's class is, what's so happy about Thanksgiving? And who can answer that question better than a so-called Native American, or the biblical name for this brother right here is a Gadite. This brother right here is from the tribe of Gad. So I'm gonna hand the baton off to Officer Shalom Bon God, and he's gonna go into why there is nothing happy about this fake ass, wicked ass holiday. Go ahead, brother.
Come. Once again, my name is Police Officer Shalom, the ISUPK under Command Julia Hunter. I'm an officer in 1000, and I've had the honor of being raised under a brother like Priest Officer Shabal, who taught me how evil and how wicked Thanksgiving is, which is the slaughter and the murder of my ancestors.
Right.
I am, according to America, I'm considered to be a man of Cherokee and Black Indian descent. I am a direct descendant of the people that your ancestors, white man, descendants of Christopher Columbus. I am a direct descendant of the people who your ancestors took this land from. You see what I'm saying? I'm a direct descendant of the people who your ancestor colonized this land from. 77 million of my people were slaughtered because you wanted to expand your culture.
Right.
When my people had their own culture that they were following. But you thought your culture was better. And because of that, to this day, my ancestors are on reservations. Because of that, to this day, 500,000, if that number is correct, of my people are aborting their babies. To this day, my brothers' children and daughters are locked in cages to this day. Because you thought that you knew better than the people who originated on this land. If I may, somebody give me the book of 1 Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 84. Go ahead, nice and loud.
This is the book of 1 Ezra, chapter 8 and verse number 84.
Now, remember what we just read earlier. We was talking about how crazy it is that through all the wicked things that you do, that Esau, how he gave away his birthright, and afterwards he regretted it. And how that's the culture that the descendants of Christopher Columbus have brought to my people. The culture of regret. You see what I'm saying? Because of the culture of colonization and the culture of regret, guess what? This is what the Bible said. Keep reading.
The book of 1 Ezra, chapter 8 and verse number 84. Mm-hmm. Therefore now shall you not join your daughters unto their sons.
What should you do?
Shall you not join your daughters unto their sons?
Because I know that your people colonized my people. And because I know that your people raped and slaughtered and gave my people smallpox. Because I know that the Puritans, as they called them at that time, the Puritans of Christopher Columbus that first came here to America, because I know that y'all first pretended to be friends with my ancestors, pretended to be allies to my ancestors, and then slaughtered them. What should we not do, Nathab Alam?
Shall you not join your daughters unto their sons?
I'm blessed that the Lord gave me children. So I can tell them that my sons should never marry their daughters.
That's right.
That my daughters should never marry your sons.
Right.
Because so many people here today that claim to believe in equality and that claim to believe in love and equalness. So many of you are celebrating the slaughter and destruction of my ancestors. Keep reading. I'll slide you, sir.
No, you got it.
Keep reading.
Neither shall you take their daughters unto your sons.
And our daughters shouldn't marry their sons either. Go ahead.
Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them.
Y'all slaughtered my ancestors. Y'all killed Mike Brown. Y'all killed Trayvon Martin. You see what I'm saying? And because of that, what?
Moreover, you shall never seek to have peace with them.
Moreover, that's why I will never seek to have peace with you, because of what you did. Hold that right there for me. Don't lose that, Nathabalam. Somebody go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 40. Bible good shot. We're going to get into the history of how my ancestors came into this land, because this is history that's forgotten. You want to know why? Because the Apocrypha was removed from the Bible. And the Bible today is regarded as a fairy tale. Thankfully, because of men who are in the ISUPK and the Commander in Johanna, we can show you that the Bible is real history.
Right.
That the Bible is our history.
Right.
And that the people who colonized this land, they used our history in order to colonize this land. Yeah. Everybody understand, right? Go ahead and read that.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse number 4. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners.
What?
Which were carried away prisoners.
For context, there are throughout our entire history, we go into captivity. Throughout the history of the 12 tribes and nations in Israel, we are under our enemies. You want to know why? Because we would rather listen to you rather than listen to the person who gave us authority, rather than listen to the person who gave us culture, and listen to the person who gave us breath, which is God.
Right.
So we go into captivity as a punishment, just like you will punish your children today for not listening to you. Keep reading.
Which were carried away as prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osei.
Out of who?
Osei, the king.
Oshea, the king. You see what I'm saying? So many of you might be familiar with the name King Xerxes, with the rulership of Persia and the Persian emperors. You see what I'm saying? We went through this captivity, and we've gone through this captivity constantly. You want to know why? Because we thought we could trust you.
Right.
We thought that we could trust you when you said that we could all be equal. We thought we could trust you when you said that you knew what was best for us. And we believed you. And you didn't have our best interest at heart. And the Lord sent us into captivity for it, because we trusted in you rather than trusted in him.
Right.
Keep reading.
Whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive.
Right.
And he carried them over the water.
Over the what?
Over the water.
Over the what?
Over the water.
Keep reading.
And so came they into another land.
They came into what?
Another land.
Go ahead.
But they took this counsel among themselves.
Now, at some point, we realized, you know what? These pale-faced pilgrims do not have our best interest at heart.
Right.
These pale-faced pilgrims hate who we are.
Right.
They hate our culture, and they only want to destroy us. So what did our ancestors say in that time once they came to that realization? Keep reading.
That they would leave the multitude.
We should do what?
Leave the multitude.
We decided to leave the multitude. Go ahead.
Of the heathen.
Of the who?
Of the heathen.
Of our enemies.
Of the heathen.
Of the destroyers.
Of the heathen.
Of the children of Esau.
Of the heathen.
That's who the heathen are. Keep reading.
And go forth into a further country.
Into a what?
Further country.
We went forth into a further country. You want to know why? Because we put our faith into you for too long, and we had enough.
Right.
So we decided to migrate to another country. And this right here in the Bible, this history is right here in the Apocrypha that your ancestors took out. Keep reading.
Where never mankind dwelt.
Where no man has ever dwelt. You want to know why we was able to get there? Because God guided us there.
Right.
Keep reading.
Verse 42, that they might there keep their statute.
Now we might what?
Keep their statute.
It was illegal at one point for us to speak our own language. It was illegal at one point for us to keep our own statutes and our own culture.
Right.
So we decided to separate at one faithful night. We left at an innumerable multitude, and we came here to America on ships across the waters so that we could do what we know we should be doing, so that we could keep our own culture and keep our own statutes. We tried to get away from the toxicity, right? People love to talk about toxic masculinity. You want to know who had toxic masculinity, if I may, sir? The white man who's the devil that the Bible speaks of. Y'all had toxic masculinity. And y'all had it against my people. And they're still on those reservations today because you had toxic masculinity. And you still have toxic masculinity. That's why after slaughtering 77 million of my people, you still have the audacity to hold a holiday, calling it Thanksgiving.
Right.
Go ahead, Nathabalam. Read the line up where you just read. Read what you just read and go forward.
Verse 42, that they might there keep their statute.
We was tired of the toxic masculinity. We wanted to do what we wanted to do. Keep reading.
Which they never kept in their own land.
Which we was never able to keep in the land of our presence. Keep reading.
And they entered into Euphrates.
Into where?
Euphrates.
This is what the biblical name was for America. Keep reading.
By the narrow passage of the river.
By the narrow passages of the waters. You see what I'm saying? We entered into America by the narrow passages of the waters. Keep reading.
Verse 44. For the Most High then showed signs for this.
For what?
For the Most High then showed signs.
Because God wanted us to escape your toxic masculinity. Because God wanted us to escape your oppression. Because God wanted us to escape your slavery. And he allowed us to do so. Keep reading.
And held still the flood.
And he made the waters calm at that time. When we decided to follow God instead of following you, he showed us a clear path. So many of you are aware of how the Aztecs and the Mayans followed maps by looking at the stars. The Bible talks about it right here, how we followed the signs of God, and he calmed the waters so that we can get away from you and travel miles and miles and miles to America. Keep reading.
Till they were passed over.
Till we passed over. Go ahead.
For through the country there was a great way to go.
Through the country was a great way to go. Now let's get into some geography. Any white man that follows geography will tell you how long it takes to get from Europe here to America by boat. How long does it take? The Bible tells you right here, and you can Google this. It'll tell you the same time. Read the Thought Alarm.
Namely, of a year and a half.
How long?
A year and a half.
How long?
A year and a half.
A year and a half at that time by way of ship. That's how long it took for us to get from that captivity. It took us a year and a half to sail, and we was willing to take that journey to get away from your oppression because we were tired of your slavery and your captivity and your oppression. You see what I'm saying? Drop that. Somebody give me the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 49. Because what so many people don't understand is that even though we might not put our faith in God, we don't know who knows our power exists. We don't know who knows that the creator of water and air exists. Our enemies. They know so much better than us. And Christopher Columbus was no different. Christopher Columbus knew that there was someone among the waters. Go ahead, sir.
Before y'all pull that, right? First of all, give his brother a hand, man. Because everything that brother said, not only was it true, but this is something that has no script. This is coming from the pain and the weight of generation of the reminder of what his forefathers and his foremothers experienced. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why I wanted to do this class with a Gadite is because on this day, only a Gadite can explain the pain that comes along with this day. As a so-called black man, you know what I'm saying? And on behalf of myself and all the so-called black men out there, you know what I'm saying? It pains us to, once we learn the history, the real history, not what's taught in school. When I learned the real history about Thanksgiving, it broke me down into tears because all you could do is feel bad.
Right.
And it's like, damn, man, to know that my brothers and sisters suffered the way they did. And here I was sitting around a goddamn table breaking bread with people that I really didn't even rock with like that. But because the calendar said that this is the day to come together with my family, I did it. And so many of us did it. But Barakatah Yahweh Shai for this truth, you know what I'm saying? Because it opened our eyes up to what's really going on.
Right.
And so now we've separated ourselves from the stupidity of this holiday. And it gives us a reminder every day, not just today. We're reminded every day about the condition of our brothers and our sisters, the so-called Native Americans, right?
Okay.
And so the thing about it is everything he talked about as far as the history and what they did, it's right here in this book.
Right.
So before we get to Deuteronomy, somebody grab Psalm 55 and 20. Let's go there first. You dig what I'm saying? We got to go there. We got to go there first because the whole thing about it is this, right? We read in Genesis how Esau is a cunning hunter, right? So what we have to understand about Esau, when it talks about him being a cunning hunter, him being cunning is not just limited to his ability to hunt. And we getting ready to prove it in the scriptures.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 20.
Uh-huh.
He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant.
That's what I'm saying. He has broken his covenant. Somebody look up how many peace treaties had been established between Esau and Gad. He already knows off the top of his head. You got it.
It's well over 350, and not a single one has been upheld on the United States end.
How many?
It's over 350 is what Google will tell you.
Read verse 21, please.
Verse 21.
Uh-huh.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
They were what?
Smoother than butter.
How many so-called peace treaties were there established?
Over 350.
Read that again from the top.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
You see what I'm saying? So these peace treaties, you know what I'm saying, that were established were between Esau and Gad, allegedly, right? Read the rest of that verse.
But war was in his heart.
But war was in his heart. You see what I'm saying? So he acted as if he was coming as a friend. He acted as if he was an ally. But in reality, he was an enemy and he was plotting the whole time.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And us being a peaceable people, we weren't even ready because we had no idea that this cat could be so goddamn cunning. You get what I'm saying?
Come.
Go ahead, Shalimar.
And if I may, to anybody that might be online watching that might not know, the word covenant means agreement.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? A covenant is an agreement or a deal or a contract. When you think of it, when you think of the word covenant, when you read in the Bible, think of the word contract or agreement. We had over how many Iraq?
Slightly, sir, 350.
We had 350 agreements with these people, man. We didn't just turn our head against them. We gave them a chance.
Mm-hmm.
We decided that, you know what? Maybe they do just want to come here. Maybe they do want what's best for us.
Right.
Maybe our ancestors who originally came across the waters, maybe they exaggerated just a little bit when they talked about the pale-faced pilgrims who want to murder us. Let's give them a chance. And what was in their heart, Taza Ward? Who was reading just now? Who was reading?
Read 21 again.
Go ahead. What was in their heart? Read that. It says, but what was in their heart?
But war was in their heart.
But war was in their heart. Even though we had all these agreements and all of these treaties and all of these covenants saying that we won't fight each other. They came to act like they wanted what was best. They came to act like they wanted to just bring our cultures together. When in reality, they wanted our death and destruction. And we see that today.
Yeah.
That's the reason that the police kill black people in the streets. That's the reason that our people are on reservations and Hispanic children are locked in cages. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, I got to say before I pass it to him. Now, I brought this out in class a while back, right? So now we just read where the scriptures say that his words were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. I asked y'all before, what do y'all see on the side of every police car?
Come on.
Go ahead.
Defenders of the public.
That's one. What's the other one?
Protect and serve.
To protect and serve.
There it is.
So now this is what they're saying. Right? But yet, I'm not even gonna ask y'all to do it. Y'all ain't even got to do it. Just think about off the top of your head how many so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know what I'm saying, were slayed by these same people who claim to protect and serve. His word was smoother than butter. We're here to uphold the law. We're here to serve and to protect. Meanwhile, all this brother went to do was grab his driver's license. And now he's not able to come home because you took his life.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Iraq, you got it.
Sir, if I may, so to be more accurate, it says according to the United States Senate, approximately 370 treaties were ratified between the United States and Native American tribes only between 1778 and 1871, when Congress ended the practice of making treaties with Indian tribes. But I've also written in another article, it doesn't say it right here, but in another article that the American government is still offending the treaties that were established in 1778 in that time.
So it's far worse than we thought.
Sir.
It's worse than we thought. We thought it was only 350.
Right.
When in reality it was how many?
It's like
300 and how many?
Approximately 370.
Yeah.
Approximately 370.
Yeah. Big shout out to Princess Nazam. You know what I'm saying? She's the wife of Officer Matabar out there in Louisiana, holding it down out there, because she did post in the chat 370. And that's the whole thing.
Oh, shit.
That is a whole bunch of treaties that were broken. You see what I'm saying? And this is why the scripture says, I'm paraphrasing, never trust thine enemy.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Go ahead, Shalimar.
And if I may, sir, there's a reason that it was so easy for us to accept the words of our enemies. Want to know why? Because in our culture, in Black culture, in Hispanic culture, in every American culture, a man is nothing without his word.
Word is bond.
Right.
Word is what?
Word is bond.
Word is bond. You see what I'm saying?
Straight up.
So we're thinking that maybe these people have the same masculinity that we have. Maybe these people are not weak enough to say something and not honor it.
Nah, real talk.
Because in our culture, we would never do such a thing. We would never say something and not mean it. So when we listen to our people, to these people, and their words are smooth as butter, we thinking that, these are men. Surely they're not just full of shit. Right. Excuse my language. You see what I'm saying? So we listen to them. You want to know why? Because we knew that it was a man that was like us. If he said something like that, he would mean it.
Right.
So if you ever wonder why we would listen to the words of a pale-faced pilgrim, that's why. Because we know that men that's like us, we know that we mean the things we say.
Right.
We know that we take our words serious. We know we would never want to say something and go back on our word.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because that's natural in our culture. Right. Like, go ahead.
Arak, you got it.
If you want, you go ahead.
No, Arak, you got it.
All right, because I had two things I want to bring
Go
up.
ahead.
One thing was, to what you was just saying, I was a Shalimar, like that's really heavy because that also gives you a direct reflection of how the so-called Native Americans even dealt with each other in the first place, because they wasn't used to dealing with this deceiving people.
Right.
Because like what you said, we knew to deal with each other at a man's word. That's your value.
Right.
You say you're gonna do this, okay, I got you.
Right.
That was one thing I wanted to say, and the other one was to bring out. So also during the 1800s, a lot of people ain't hit to this, but in 1840, this is the biggest mass genocide of an animal species in human recorded history, right? Which was of the bison, which is at an estimated 35,650,000 was estimated to be murdered in just 1 year. And then 30 years later, there was another 5,500,000. Then 1880, which is only 10 years later after that, 395,000. And I only say that to say where a lot of people try to just say, well, these aren't my forefathers, that was the crimes that they did and whatnot. But the thing is of course today a pivotal point that we make as to why the white man has to pay for his crimes is because, of course, what the Bible says, that he that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He that slays with the sword shall go and be slain with the sword. Well, this is also a Roman tactic that is indirectly slaying somebody by the sword. Because if you do your history, the Romans used to encompass whatever land that they were attacking, right, to cut off all avenues of approach for food to come in. So cutting off all trade. So in other words, they just sit there and wait you out until you starve.
Right.
They wait you out until you're weak. And that also shows how strong that, the men with bow and arrows and spears was against these white men with plated armor and guns. You know what I'm saying? Right. But that shows just how powerful we really were, right, and the avenues of approach that they had to take just to fight against, and if I may to really emphasize this, God's chosen people.
Right. And everything that you're saying is so heavy because the whole thing about it is this, right? Again, based on everything that you just heard, and you pair it with Esau being a cunning hunter,
right?
If you do not still understand who Esau is, then you haven't been paying attention. Go ahead.
And one more thing to add off of that as well, because what you just said with Esau being a cunning hunter, he's also a man that doesn't know how to, how would you say, use something to its full potential. And what I mean by that is mind you, he just massacred 35 million buffalo. That was in a year in 1840. That was in a 12-month period. And it was actually a celebration back then. But to go when you look at those numbers and then you look at how the so-called Native Americans actually utilized a buffalo and how long it took for the entire buffalo to even be expended for a tribe to use that single buffalo. You're talking about maybe in an area of a 500 mile radius. You're looking at maybe 5 to 6 buffalo being killed in a 6-month period. Right. Because it's bones being used as jewelry. It's every single part of the muscle and tissue being used as food. And if the bones aren't being used as jewelry, it's being used as weapons, some sort of a tool. In other words, even though that the so-called Native Americans, our Gadite brothers and sisters, may have killed something, took the life out of a creature, that creature never went to waste. Right. That creature served a purpose. Right. After death. And if I may real quick, and you can have it, Salakia, sir. But when that massacre of 1840, I believe it actually happened in 1842, is when they started taking those photos where there was those mountain high of just the skulls of the buffalo, where it easily reached upwards of 20 feet. Think about it. That's upwards of 20 feet of just the bison's head that is being wasted. Yeah. Let alone the rest of the bison, just for the purpose of what is the word? Divide and conquer. Salaki. That's insane. For divide and conquer. Salaki.
That's insane. Go ahead, Tyler Warren.
So I got you. Y'all kind of already touched on what I was gonna say. That Esau, being a cunning hunter, he was able to kill 3 million buffalo a month to equal to 38 million across a year. 3 million a month. What do you do with that type of meat other than waste it? On top of that, it said that they broke 370 treaties. 370. According to the scriptures, there's a little over 600 laws, statutes, and commandments. You've broken over half of the law, statutes, and commandments. There's treaties. Right.
Clip that. Somebody clip that.
That's crazy.
So like I can't.
132. Yeah. You got it, Shalimar.
If I may, what Officer Rock was bringing out earlier about how they slaughtered so many of our buffalo, that is so much deeper than what we realize. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Somebody get a Lord of hand real quick. First of all, let's get a Lord of hand. I need y'all to understand, it is not a coincidence that we started this class off by going into how weak men are when it comes to women, and all of those things. You want to know why? Because our enemy was a very insecure man. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Ain't that what our women talk about nowadays? Mm-hmm. How insecure a man is. Christopher Columbus is insecure. You see what I'm saying? He knew we relied on those buffaloes for our resources. Right. He knew we relied on those buffaloes for the bones and the skins and the clothes and the food and everything else. Right. And he wanted to be the only thing that we relied on. Yeah. Which is why he slaughtered them. Right. Which is why he slayed them. Because really, they're the ones that's really insecure. Right. You see what I'm saying, sir? Yeah. And guess what we do? We adopt those insecurities. Because you would rather follow the culture of man rather than follow the culture and the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. Right. And that's the reason that we're here today. Yeah. And the ISUPK under command of General Yohana. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because we have to teach you better.
Yeah, straight like that. Hey, let me get Psalms chapter 58 and verse 3. This drives home the example that y'all just laid out right now. This is going to drive it home right here.
The book of Psalms, chapter 58, and verse number 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb.
They are what?
Estranged from the womb.
Uh-huh.
Man.
They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
Telling the truth.
Speaking lies.
Uh-huh.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Their poison is like the poison of a serpent.
Mm-hmm.
They are like the death adder that stoppeth her ears.
You see what I'm saying? The reason why I wanted to drop this scripture right here, because again, the scripture says that Esau comes out of the womb speaking lies.
Right.
They first words is lies.
Right.
Even as a baby, they lying.
BS.
You get what I'm saying? So this goes into all the peace treaties that were broken, right? And then when it talks about their poison is like the poison of a serpent, they are like the deaf adder that stop at the ear. It's a venomous snake that cannot hear. All it does is just keep killing and killing. It can't hear you saying, hey, I'm dying here. Hey, I've had enough. What Esau did to those bison is exactly what this scripture is talking about right here. You get what I'm saying? It's just a continuous way of just being the serpent that they really are. And the fact, and again, the reason why the Bible refers to Esau as a snake and continue to use these snake references,
right,
is because that is the spirit of the so-called white man.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? This is why even the so-called Native Americans, what they say, pale face speak with forked tongue.
Right.
What has a forked tongue? A goddamn snake. You get what I'm saying? So no matter what, no matter how you spin it, it all comes back to Esau. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
If I may, what's so heavy about it saying that somebody is estranged from the womb? Ain't nobody thinking about the fact that, okay, well, when you got a black woman, what is being estranged from a black woman when you're dealing with somebody like Bob Marley? His mother was an Israelite, and from the moment that he left that womb, he was already separated from that Israelite.
Real talk.
Even Jacob and Esau. Esau immediately, even though he shared the womb with Jacob, the moment he exited that womb is the moment that he was separated from, well, technically the prophecy said they were separated.
I did what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying?
You said it's fact.
You don't even hold. My point is that I want to say, Salakia, is that even though that there might be an interracial marriage, right, which is forbidden, that child, if their father is anything but an Israelite, that child is automatically already against them. Because of course, I mean, hell, Bob Marley is somewhat one of the most prolific people on the face of the earth when it comes to music and also unity of the people.
Right.
But yet, what does the Bible say about that? Right. He is 110% against the Bible. He is everything against his mother. He is everything that says, I hate you, to Bob Marley's mother.
Yeah.
He was about his father's business.
Yeah. Straight. Man, that's a good way to say it. Nah. Let me get Amos chapter 5 verse 21. Right, we're gonna speed through a couple of these because we coming up against the clock. All right. So now now this part of the class right here is the part where anyone who has a plate in front of them watching this class and it has all the Thanksgiving regulars on it. This is the part where you should drop that fork and look in the mirror and ask yourself, what the hell are you doing? You get what I'm saying? This part right here, because we're going to show you, because my opinion doesn't matter, his opinion doesn't matter, and nobody else's opinion matters except the Most High. What we're getting ready to read is the words of the Most High. You got it.
Right.
This is the book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 21. I hate, I despise your feast days.
I do what?
I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assembly.
You see what I'm saying? The Most High said, I despise your feast days. He's saying your because they go against his.
Right.
Because these aren't his feast days. These are your feast days.
Right.
And the reality, and the sad part about it is these ain't even your feast days. These are Esau's feast days. And yet you are part of the go along, get along gang. You see what I'm saying? Because you're following in the steps of Esau, when in reality you should be following the steps of the Most High. Go ahead.
If I may, and this is a question for the worldwide, right? Because Thanksgiving is a North American holiday in the first place, but it's a very big thing with Christianity. How come they're not celebrating Thanksgiving in Europe or in South America or in Africa?
That's an excellent question.
Say that Christ is the one that's gathering us together today for Thanksgiving, but why ain't they doing it anywhere else?
That's an excellent question, and to drive that home even further, right? Do you realize that Thanksgiving is the celebration for Esau? It's the celebration of their victory over my people.
Right.
So my question to everybody that came together and made all that food and joined hand in hand, why are you taking part in a victory that hurt you, did not help you? You didn't win, you lost. So what exactly are you celebrating? I understand, I'm not saying it's cool, but I understand why Esau's celebrating.
Right.
My question is, why the hell are you celebrating? You get what I'm saying? Go ahead, Tabalan.
You know what's crazy is they sit here, they make all this food, and then they got the nerve to pray over this food. If they say that, because they say they love God,
right?
But when you love God, you keep His commandments, and by keeping His commandments, He tells you exactly. He lays the blueprint out for you.
Right.
It shows that they don't love God.
Right.
And I want to bring out a scripture, if I may. This is the book of Titus, chapter 1, and verse number 16. It says they profess that they know God, but in works they deny Him. Because this is, their works is basically showing that they don't love God. And God just said clearly with the scripture you just brought up, I despise your feast days. And we sit here and we try to celebrate these feast days, talking about, we love God. You know what I'm saying? We're going to pray over this ham and this. God hates ham.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And that's manifold. Go ahead. You got it.
I mean, just to piggyback off of that too, it's like it says that He hates the feast days, and then most people claim to be part North American Indian.
Real talk.
Have this
Real talk. Right.
Some Arapaho.
Right.
Blackfoot and all this in their blood.
Right.
Does anybody in the chat in their major city know of a Native American restaurant that they go to and what's their favorite dish?
Wow.
And then on Thanksgiving, how come you don't go there and support them instead of supporting the turkey that's dry as fuck, the macaroni that got all the milk, you got macaronios, you got all this hard ass, turkey ass stuffing.
Right.
Maybe the North American Indian restaurant that you go to and support them in this time,
right?
They're the ones that suffer.
Man, that's so heavy. Go ahead, Shalimar, you got it.
If I may, I just want to ask a question. With everything that everybody just said, this whole celebration of Thanksgiving, it ties into prayer and Christianity and being together. Everybody before, when you surround that long table of BS, of dry food and fights waiting to happen, because everybody uncle finna fight tonight.
Right.
On Thanksgiving.
Right.
All of our uncles finna get into it right now.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? How dare you try to say that my king is a part of that?
Right.
How dare you try to say that my king is a part of that nonsense?
Right.
How dare you disgrace the name of God by saying that you're praying over this food to him? How dare you try to say, look at my eyes, man. How dare you try to say that my king would acknowledge the slaughter of 77 million of my people?
Right.
You disgust me, man. You should disgust yourself. If you would think that everybody claims that Jesus Christ was this all loving people.
Right.
Let's look at Christ from your perspective for a second. If Christ was really who you claim, and he was really all loving, why would he acknowledge Thanksgiving? A holiday celebrating the death of my people.
Right.
What would he be thankful about if we look at it from your perspective? You should be ashamed of yourself.
Straight up.
And you should have enough sense to realize, you know what? Maybe I haven't been following the culture of God. Maybe I've been following the culture of the people who raised me. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, the people who raised you don't know what the hell they're talking about. Go ahead, all right.
If I may, just to add to what you were saying, man, because you asked a really good question about, Yahweh Shai, how he would feel, you know what I'm saying, with the genocide. When at the end of the day, it's nobody, it almost seems, and this actually pisses me off the most when people will, speak about like Christ's love and everything, right? And then completely ignore the symbology of the cross. When the cross wasn't how would you say, something that was used just, specifically for Christ, himself. Because the cross for the Romans was actually that was symbology for them saying, I conquered you. So there was times where the Romans would go and go to infiltrate, raid, attack a country, and instead of just attacking them, they would just set up, rows and columns upon columns of crosses around, said land, because what the cross actually had a symbology of, according to the Romans, whom of which, rose up the cross. So that's what we got to pay attention to, right? The context is that the cross is a symbol for I conquered you. So if you are under the cross, nailed,
you are now under this authority.
What exactly? So you were conquered by those who rose the cross up. Salagi, that should be.
What you said.
I might use that for food for thought. This upcoming weekend, Salagi.
Hey, give food for thought to him.
Yeah, for real.
ISUPK Las Vegas, Officer Rock every Tuesday. Give food for thought to him, man. This brother class is amazing. Man, let me tell y'all something, man. Everything his brother said is so correct. Somebody give me Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 49, right? Because everything he said is so correct. And what so little of us know is that it's recorded in the very Bible.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead and read that when you got
the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse number 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
Who?
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
Remember we just read earlier in the Apocrypha, talking about the situation that we in. You see what I'm saying? Right here in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 49, the Lord is saying, you know what? Because y'all would rather listen to y'all enemies, because y'all would rather listen to man and follow the word of man rather than the word of God, because y'all don't listen to me, I'm going to bring who? Keep reading.
From the end of the earth.
No, read the nation.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
Because we went into that land that the Lord gave us, which we read way earlier. He just said, and we decided to not follow his word. He said, now I'm going to bring a nation against you from far. Keep reading.
From the end of the earth.
From where?
From the end of the earth.
From the end of the earth. Keep reading.
As swift as an eagle flies.
And it's going to take no time. Y'all going to be real comfortable. Y'all going to be real peaceful. Y'all going to be having a good time. And all of a sudden, these people who I sent are going to be there. You want to know who these people were? Somebody read my mind. Who were these people that the Lord sent as swift as the eagles flies to America? Go ahead and top it along.
The European man.
Christopher Columbus. You see what I'm saying? That's who these people were. Keep reading.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Who's what?
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
These people are going to show up on your shores because at some point in your ancestry, you stopped following my word and you started following a different God. So now, this is who I'm sending. It's going to be a people whose word you shall not understand. Go ahead, Rob. You have something?
I was just going to add on, because I know that a lot of Christians get confused with that because they're like, okay, then how did everything else thus going forward, happen the way that it did? A lot of people don't know that Christopher Columbus had, I believe it was either four. I believe it was four. It was either 4 or 6 Hebrew translators.
Mm-hmm.
He specifically had those 4 people to translate Hebrew for a reason because he knew what and who he was going to encounter.
And if I may, Christopher Columbus used the Bible.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
What you would know today is the Apocrypha. He used that section of the Bible to understand that, there's a people across that ocean.
Right.
Somebody's over there. There's a country over there. Back then, people didn't have a confusion on whether the Bible was a fairy tale book or a history book. They knew it was a book of history.
Mm.
Christopher Columbus had the knowledge to say, you know what? They record their history here, and I have a copy of it, and I'm gonna go look for them because they over there. We filling up over here. We all know the history of how disgusting Europe was, how overpopulated Europe was, and how, you see what I'm saying? Christopher Columbus said, something got to give, something got to change. We have to expand. You see what I'm saying? So he picked up the Bible, which is what all of you need to do, and he found America. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead, Taza War.
And isn't that weird how everybody says that Christopher Columbus discovered America?
It's disgusting.
But around those times, if you discover something, it was kind of named after you. So if he discovered America, how come it's not Columbus, America, whatever? It's because he was a wretched, filthy human being anyway, because he got caught stealing, and that's why they named America after his cartographer, Amerigo Vespucius.
Amerigo Vespucius. You see what I'm saying?
So heavy.
And if I may,
So heavy.
and if I may,
so heavy.
Look at what happens. Get Taza War in. Look at what happens. You want to know what happens when you follow the culture of your enemies? If we decided to go discover somebody's car, like so many of us do today, you want to know what's going to happen? We're going to go to jail.
Wow.
You want to know why? Because when you follow your enemy's culture rather than your father's culture, the only thing that's there left for you is death and destruction and prison.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
If I went and discovered somebody's car or somebody's wife or name something else, somebody's boat or anything else that a man can own, any personal belonging,
Valuables.
I'm going to be punished. And you know who's going to punish me? My enemies.
Right.
Why can't I follow the same customs that you follow? You discovered my ancestors' land, and because of that, now we poor. Because of that, now we suffering. Because of that, now they're on reservations. But when I discovered something that you established off the backs of my ancestors, now I deserve to be locked up. Go ahead and keep reading, Dr. Long.
Verse 50.
Mm-hmm.
A nation of fierce countenance.
This is going to be a nation of fierce countenance, mean people. Keep reading.
Which shall not regard the person of old.
What shall not they do?
Regard the person of old.
Now look at this. The Puritans, right? There was a man by the name of Squanton. I'm paraphrasing his name. This is a Native American man by the name of Squanton. When Christopher Columbus arrived and all those treaties were committed, Squanton, he was the man that was translating and was setting apart these treaties for our people and for them. You see what I'm saying? He was teaching them how to bathe. He was teaching them how to fish on their land. He was teaching them how to hunt buffalo. He was teaching them how to skin buffalo. He was teaching them how to do all of those things. You want to know why? Because they told him and they told our people that we don't want any war. We're here just to learn who you are, learn your culture. And us being real men, we know that a man is nothing without his word. We made the small mistake of thinking they were real men too, who will hold themselves to their word. Squanton held them to their word. And you want to know what happened afterwards? Afterwards, they kept breaking those treaties.
Right.
Afterwards, they kept going against what we agreed to. Afterwards, they were stealing our food. They were stealing our water. They were stealing from the graves of our ancestors, man.
Right.
We would leave gold and we would leave flowers on our ancestors' graves, and they would steal them and give them to their children. And you want to know what happened? Eventually, we went to war over that. And guess what happened? The ancestors of the offspring of the Europeans, they called all of the men outside. They surrounded our camps and called all the men outside. And when the men came outside, they killed them and they shot them with their rifles. Yeah. And guess what happened to the women and the old people who didn't come outside? The Bible was telling us far before it happened. Yeah. Guess what happened to the old and the young if they didn't come outside? They burned those houses to the ground while our ancestors were still inside. That's what happened.
And let me tell you something that still applies to this day. The brother just read Deuteronomy 28 and 50, where it says, "Shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young." Right. Let me tell y'all something. While y'all out there and y'all standing around the table holding hands and praying over the food and all that kind of stuff, right? And y'all partaking in Esau's holiday and y'all celebrating how great this place really is. Meanwhile, I was at my slavery. I'm getting off the freeway. I'm going south on the 15, and I'm getting off on Charleston. And what do I see? What do I see at that exit right there? Dude, on a brother right there at the exit with a sign asking for change. Right? not only was the brother out there asking for change. Now, mind you, this early in the morning, right? So y'all know this time of year it's cold.
Right.
This brother out there holding a sign, asking for change, and just to try to get people to acknowledge him. The brother out there dancing, man. Yeah. The brother out there, I'm talking about like the brothers out there like really dancing and pointing to his sign, asking for change. And y'all standing around this table and y'all talking about how thankful y'all are for this day. And y'all so consumed with the affairs of Esau. Meanwhile, you got brothers and sisters in your own backyard who you won't even give $1 to.
Right.
Today is all about you.
Come on.
It's not about history. It's not about none of that. Like the brother said in the comments earlier, they don't care about what we talking about. Where's your dressing? Where's your cranberry sauce? You know what I'm saying? And who made the Kool-Aid?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
If I may, man, like, so when I was on my way here, my damn self, I said something to my real, I thought it was the craziest thing. So we was just getting off on Cheyenne off of the 95 going north. And to the right, I think it was a woman, but,
Never can tell nowadays. Yeah.
Person,
right.
It looked like a whatever. And then on the left, there was a Latino brother, Israelite brother, who was selling flowers. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, when you look on the right with that white thing that was on the right, had a whole sign asking for money and this, that, and the other. I'm like, it's supposed to be Thanksgiving and everything. Mm-hmm. So why is it that on the white man's day that this white person is just on the sign, and people are stopping to give her money or it money, right? But on the left, someone who's, being an entrepreneur, a hustler.
Right.
It's like, if I may, sirs, isn't that supposed to be the origin of American culture? That they are just so big on the self-made people, self-made businesses?
Allegedly.
But yet, nobody wanted to look at this, brother. Nobody wanted to support his business. Right. But they looked to the right and just saw this. I mean, I'm not going to say that, she was necessarily a transformer, but, there was some question of her appearance, but people were stopping to give her a couple of dollars, just cause. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous. So like, just a comment off of what.
No, real talk.
And if I may, what you said is so important. Who had what we were just reading just now? Who was following along?
What we just read?
Deuteronomy 28.
Go ahead. Continue.
Come. Says, we shall not regard the person of old.
They shall not what?
Regard the person of old.
They're not going to regard the person of old. Go ahead.
Nor show favor to the young.
That's why they called our men outside, pretending that they just wanted to have a friendly conversation, and then they gunned them down in cold blood. Keep reading.
Verse 51.
And what they did to the young and the old that was staying in the houses, they set their tents on fire. Keep reading.
And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle.
And then he did what?
Eat the fruit of thy cattle.
He ate the fruit of our cattle. On that day, they established Thanksgiving. The governor of the land at that day, they established Thanksgiving on that day. Because now we slaughtered every man that could have came against us. And we conquered our enemies. That's what they decided on that day. They want to know what our enemies did on the graves of our ancestors? They feasted. And what did they feast on? Read that one more time from the top.
And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle.
They feasted on the fruit of our cattle. They feasted on the best of our cattle. They feasted on our buffalo and from our fruits and from everything else. They ate what we had. And that's what you celebrating today, eating your turkey and your yams and all your other BS. And you want to know, and guess what? My cousins are still on reservations to this day.
Right.
I'm fortunate to not be on one of those reservations. I'm fortunate to not be right there suffering with them right now, so that I can tell you how wrong you are. You see what I'm saying? Somebody give me the book of 2 Maccabees 7 and 2, and we're gonna end it with this. If that's the wives, sir.
Got it.
Give me 2 Maccabees 7 and 2. And somebody else hold Jeremiah 30 and 16.
Sorry, y'all. We're gonna go over a few minutes, but we're gonna wrap it up shortly. All right. The water to y'all for rocking with us in the late hours. All right.
I so greatly appreciate y'all patience because I pray y'all know how important it is that you and your children and your parents, your grandparents understand how wrong it is to celebrate and acknowledge what you're acknowledging today. So my apologies for going over the time. Go ahead. Who got 2 Maccabees?
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7 and verse number 2.
This was the response of the brother who was translating for Christopher Columbus when they first came to our land. Keep reading.
But one of them that spake first said thus.
But one of them that was able to speak the language of the Europeans, this was what they said. When they said, oh, we just here because we want to learn about your culture. And we just want to be one people. And we just want to do this and do that. This is how our ancestors was thinking at that time. Keep reading.
What wouldst thou ask or learn of us?
What is it you really want to learn from us? Want to know why? Because my ancestors told me that we fled from your land because y'all was evil people. And y'all took us away from our God. But guess what? Keep reading.
We are ready to die.
But we ready to what?
Die.
What?
Die.
What?
Die.
Keep reading.
Rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers.
But we ready to die rather than transgress the laws of our fathers.
That's right.
This was the mentality that we had at one point for God's law. This was the mentality that we had at one point for the statutes of our fathers. And slowly but surely, the more we allowed our enemies to dwell in our land, our mentality became their mentality until they was able to conquer us. You see what I'm saying? Somebody read Jeremiah. Bible gets shot. What if we can get back to that mentality? Just imagine if that's why we're here today, right?
We're working on it.
Give the Lord a hand.
We've been working on it since 1969.
Since 1969, we've been trying to get back to the mentality of 2 Maccabees 7 and 2.
Right.
Being willing to die for our father's culture.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I know Officer Shabazz is willing to die for this. I know Officer Iraq and Bakar, I know they're willing to die for this. Taza Warner thought about Lam, I know they'll give their life for this. You want to know why? Because they know the history of the suffering that they've had to go through and their parents and their forefathers had to go through. Because at one point we did celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving. Just like their brother in 2 Maccabees knew as well. His forefathers celebrated Christmas. And he knew where it led to. That's why he was willing to die. Y'all understand, right? Somebody read Jeremiah, Bible gets shot.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 17.
And this is what's going to happen if you're not willing to die. To acknowledge the culture of your forefathers. To acknowledge the culture that God gave you. Keep reading.
For I will restore health unto thee.
Salakia, 30 and 16.
Salakia. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured.
This is what's going to happen to the descendants of Christopher Columbus. This is what's going to happen to the descendants of Amerigo Vespucius. This is what's going to happen to the descendants of Afrigo, whatever the hell his name was. You see what I'm saying? If you are benefiting off of the murder and the slaughter of my ancestors, the God of Israel has a message for you.
Goddamn right.
Read it from the top.
Therefore, all they that devour thee,
because you devoured my people and you destroyed my people, go ahead.
These shall be devoured.
Guess what? God is going to make sure we devour you. Keep reading.
And all thine adversaries.
And all who side them and advise themselves with you. All that align themselves with you. Keep reading.
Every one of them.
Every one of them. What?
Shall go into captivity.
Shall go into what?
Captivity.
Into what?
Captivity.
Every single one of you shall go into captivity. Because my grandmother had to pick cotton. And my grandfather was beaten. Guess what? Now you're going to pick cotton. And you're going to be beaten. Keep reading.
And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil.
But guess what? Those that side themselves with God and that align themselves with God, God is going to remember you. Keep reading.
And all that prey upon thee.
But if you are an enemy of Commander General Yohana, if you're an enemy of Officer Bakar,
right?
If you're an enemy of Officer Tazawar,
right?
If you're an enemy of Officer Shabal,
right?
What's going to happen?
Thee will I give thee thee will I give for a prey.
Then guess what? Now you are going to become the prey of God. And God always keeps his promises. I pray you know that.
Right?
You will be the prey of God. You will be the prey of Jesus Christ. You want to know why? Because you stood against what was right. You stood against what should be right. Keep reading.
17. For I will restore health unto thee.
Because the Lord is going to restore health unto us. We messed up at one point, but the Lord is going to restore health unto us. The Lord is going to fix us. You want to know why? Because we decided to take the Lord serious. And that's what you're looking at in this class today. That's what you're looking at in the ISUPK and the Commanders in your Honor. Keep reading. Let's close it out with this.
And I will heal thee of thy wounds.
And he's going to heal us from your destruction. He's going to heal us from your Christmas and your Thanksgiving and all your Black Fridays and all your 4th of Julys. He's going to heal us from all of your oppression. And we will become whole again. We become a family again. We will love each other once again. You want to know why? Because thus saith the Lord.
Straight like
Does
that.
everybody understand?
Straight like that. Man.
And I pray you understand.
Listen, man. With everything that was brought out in this class, you know what I'm saying, was given to us for our learning. You see what I'm saying? Let's not log off and go back to the turkey. Let's remember the history. Let's think about what happened to our forefathers and our foremothers. Let's keep that in the forefront of our minds and not being worried about what some whore has to think about. Why we not dressing like we used to? Right. Why we not getting shape-ups no more? Right. Why we growing our beards out? Let's be the men that the Lord called us to be. And you sisters out there, let's start working on being the sisters that the Lord called you to be. Because anything outside of that is disobedience, and disobedience equals death. Right. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You understand? So with that, hey, Most High in Christ, the water to everybody for watching, the water for everybody that stuck around while we ran a little bit late. Listen, for all you cake ass niggas, because it's getting ready to go left. For all you cake ass niggas and all you ho-ablers that had something to say in the chat earlier, we not finna be doing none of this teaching. We not finna go into this Bible. Right. Right? Anybody that wants some funk, you can find us on the Sipping and Tripping channel. We finna go live from the Sipping and Tripping channel. And all you cake ass, Duncan Hines ass, Pillsbury dough ass niggas, you can come find us over there. That's right. You know what I'm saying? But for you righteous brothers and you righteous sisters who are truly seeking the Lord, I say shalom, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Brakathum to all you brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shema Alathun Ba'Shem Yahushua to all the sisters. This has been the ISUPK Las Vegas Scripture Breakdown class. You can catch us every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Tuesday is the Brotherhood class. Wednesday is the Biblical Law class. Thursday is the Scripture Breakdown class. And on Saturday, we have the Sabbath service. All right, for more information, you can find us on Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas, on YouTube, ISUPK Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? You can find us on TikTok as well, ISUPK Las Vegas. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And with that, till next time, hey, again, slacking for run over the time. You know what I'm saying? Lord allow, we'll catch you on the next one. All right, shalom, Israel. We'll get with y'all.